Next 50-cent stinker fix. I, without good glasses on, a couple months ago drove my wheel onto a median. I'm not the worst driver in the universe, but I was rather blind and distracted at that particular moment. People's skill levels fluctuate a lot. So it looked like everything was okay. The car was still going straight, but it turned out the left tie rod, the outer left tie rod worn out. Now, normally when you get a tie rod done, you can get one at the auto store for 30, 40 bucks. You can pay a mechanic 50, 70 bucks to do it. It's 100 bucks. But then you're supposed to get the car aligned. However, I have a trick. A 50-cent trick, I might add. By the way, I got the tie rods for free because I bought all the tie rods and everything in one eBay chunk, saving about $100. Hence, ergo, I got that tie rod for free. And I know a secret Chinese trick, which I'd like to show you. I'd like to take this thing and cut it, but I will not do that because that would cost more than 50 cents because it would be flopping around. The tie rod you take off the car, you can watch that on any YouTube video. Usually you count how many turns it is and whatnot, and you turn the same amount of turns back. However, tie rods are different, and some have a different length threads from said point to said point. So that's what you do. You take the other tie rod that's already on there before you loosen the loosening bolt. You put a piece of electrical tape around it right next to the bolt without squashing the tape, so it's exactly parallel to the bolt. Maybe a time or 2 or 3, whatever. Maybe just 1.5 times, and you seal it in a good way. And then it is there. Then you loosen the bolt. Then you unscrew the tie rod. Don't bother counting. You hold the tie rod next to the other tie rod. Line the two tips of them up, even if the thread lengths is different. And you take the threads exactly where it was, and you wrap another piece of electrical tape around that blue, in this case it would be blue, I have a blue roll tape, parallel, and you make it exactly parallel, and you wrap it around both, and then you have the tape in the exact same place on the new tie rod from the round little ball joint gizmo that with a little bolt on it that slides into the thing. Then you cut it, and then you tighten that up, this tie rod, whatever, you don't need that tape or that tie rod anymore. Set it aside, put the other tie rod on, screw it on until the tape gets right next to the bolt, or where the bolt's going to tighten. You can count that little thing. Then tighten the bolt, and it's right next to the tape. Hence, ergo, you need no alignment to and the tie rod's for free because I got every single part in the entire front end for 130 bucks. Would have been like 230 if I bought them individually. So free tie rod, free alignment, no time spent on alignment. Must wash your hands after with 50 cents. Yeah, learn to go Jew. That's that 50-cent fix. The next 50-cent fix is to replace every single thing in the front end. Would cost like $500 labor at a mechanic, and you'd have to leave it there for a day or two. It turns out that the auto stores lease for free the ball joint presser and the inner tie rod, whatchamacallit, long tube-looking gizmo tool. They lease them out for free. You buy it, and then you use it, and then you return it. I don't know why they do it that way. I would pay them 10, 20 bucks to lease it, but it's free the way they say to do it. And then you do all these things in one swift chunk. What mechanics often don't do because they're too lazy or simple, some of them might, but you put the car up on all 4 jack stands, and you jack the car up and you put the jack stands underneath the lower control arms, because before tightening the upper control arms and lower control arms, after doing the ball joints and everything, you tighten it while it is floating as if the tires were on the ground, but they can't be because you have to have the wheels out of your way. Then you have tightened it up at the proper tilt of the upper control arm and lower control arm, and this, that, and the other thing, and blah, 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 blah. And you put every tie rod back where it was and everything back where it was. And you could, although if I'm not perfect, which don't tell anyone, but I just might not be. But if you do it perfectly, you could do it without doing an alignment and just wash your hands with some 50 cents worth of orange Gojo and spray a little bit, maybe use a quarter of Gojo and spray a quarter of penetrating oil on the ball joints, and use a bunch of tools creatively. And then the grand total is 50 cents. Excuse me. People don't seem to realize I'm the center of the universe. It's amazing. It's amazing. The audacity of it. And the total price, as I was saying, is 50 stinking cents. Very well, that's video number 3. That dragged out too long, but same difference.